welcome to the show from Harpo's, a staple in downtown Columbia since 1971. And we are happy that we are here each and every week for Tiger Talk here on the Central Bank Tiger Network and also on Matrix Midwest. Coach Dennis Gates is alongside. He'll be with us for the first half hour of the show. Coming up a little bit later, we'll visit with the former Tiger, now an NBA scout, Jared Sutton, will join us. We'll also hear from Missouri assistant coach Matt Klein to close the show. Missouri's in action tomorrow evening against Oklahoma. There's still some tickets available. You can go online to get yours, mutigers.com. Go online to get your Oklahoma tickets at mutigers.com. Game tips off at 8 o'clock. Our coverage begins at 7:30. Lots to talk about on the show. Missouri now number 21 this week in the Associated Press poll. Tigers ranked number 22 by the coaches. And Mizzou in action at home against Oklahoma on Wednesday, then at Georgia coming up on Saturday afternoon. Missouri last week lost to two top 10 teams by a total of 7 points. And so quite an effort by Coach Gates and his club. It's interesting. As you look at the SEC, we were just talking about it before we came on the air. It is so good. 13 of the 16 teams have back-to-back losses so far this season. Every school's lost at least one time at home in conference play. It just goes to show you that on any given night, Coach.
It is a unbelievable conference that I truly believe will go down in history as the most competitive conference there ever has been. But more importantly, there's a shot, and no one's talking about it, of 14 teams getting into the NCAA tournament. 14.
Yeah.
That's unheard of. And, for us, we just want to compete every night, give our very best, and grow at a steady pace that allows us to be a completely different team than we were at the beginning of the year to the end of the year and peak at the right time.
National rankings, Auburn 1, Alabama 2, Tennessee 3, Texas A&M's up to 8. Of course, Mizzou 21. We could go through the whole list, but it just goes to show you.
Tennessee's 5, right?
Tennessee's 5. Yeah.
Tennessee's 5?
No. They're
Is
3. Tennessee's 3.
Who's 5?
Let's pull it up on the phone. We'll do it after the break.
Yeah.
See, now you got me thinking.
I'm thinking about this one.
The number I do know right now, and everybody, you want to join in on this? How about since the last time we did this show, Dennis Gates has picked up career win number 100 as a head basketball coach.
Oh, man. Well, I quickly put my suit in the cleaners because the players, they doused me with a lot of water.
You got wet, yeah.
But that belongs to a lot of people, a lot of young people that believed in me. Obviously, I can't go out there and compete, but as a head coach and leader, you dream of opportunities to just be a head coach, and as a young assistant, getting to 100 victories. A lot of coaches who get that opportunity don't get to 100 victories. So for me to be able to get there, I'm just wishing for 100 more and 100 more here at Missouri. And you guys heard my press conference today. I hope I'm here for 20 more years.
Yeah, and so
That's
do we.
what I hope.
Yeah, so do we. You can just kind of just cut to the chase and say I'm going to be here for another. Not that I hope. I mean, I'm just not to put words in.
Look, you know the profession. The profession
I
is
know
about.
the profession. Yeah.
You as head coaches, you got to understand. You don't know where your opportunities are going to come and who's going to give it to you. As stewards, we're here at the same time, and it's the curators, the AD, and those that's above me's job to make sure that the Witten family head men's basketball coach is here. I just hope it's always me for the next. I want to break Norm's records.
And you know who,
I want to.
Yeah, and don't think the big boy will be around when you do that, but he'll be looking down with a smile on his face. The tender age of 90 right now for Coach Stewart, but I know he will look down with a
Norm
fond smile.
coached here for how many years? 33. Yeah, 33 years. My mentor, Leonard Hamilton, just got to 23 years. He's retiring. My hat's off to him. And you won't see these things happen often during this time of college athletics. And I hope I'm the next coach to get to 20 years at one institution.
Yeah, I hope you are too. That would be very cool. Okay, so just to clarify, because I'm an idiot, Auburn 1, Alabama 2, Florida 3, Duke 4, or Duke tied for 3, Tennessee 5, Houston 6, Purdue 7, A&M 8, St. John's, Iowa State, Michigan State, Texas Tech, Arizona, Memphis, Kentucky at 15.
Wow.
Wisconsin, some nappy school to the west, Marquette. Ole Miss at 19, Michigan at 20, then Mizzou, Mississippi State at 22, Clemson, Creighton, and Maryland. So
I don't think in the history of the SEC, they mentioned that this is the first time in basketball, number 1 versus number 2 in the country this weekend. But there's never been a conference, I don't think, 1, 2, and 3 consecutive.
See, now you want me to do a little history going back to the old Big 8. Remember, like 89, 90, those teams?
I don't think it was ever 3 in a row, though.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, I think you're right about that. Yeah. Huh.
Well, I was born in the 80s, so I don't know what happened before then.
Had to throw that in there, didn't you? Yeah, love this guy.
Oh, man. He's going to get me. He's going to get me.
No, I wouldn't do that to you. Not at all. Tamar Bates, over the course of the last 9 games, I think it is, averaging 16.1 points per game. But if you look at just the last 4, he's averaging 19 a game.
Yeah.
What's he doing differently? Or is there anything he's doing differently that's producing the results you're seeing?
So Tamar's growth starts with his leadership. Mm-hmm. His comfort level here at Mizzou, you guys can see it. You saw him do those things last year, but now add to that, he's not interrupted as our team has improved because he's improved. He's improved from a film perspective, player development perspective. He's a gym rat, and he does everything he needs to do off the court. There is no interference as he's a young father as well. So he is a unbelievable dude when it comes down to organizing his life, focusing in on the prize, and his heart. He allows people into it. So I'm able to coach his heart. And when I'm able to coach his heart, I'm able to push him in a way, but also he's able to push me because there's comfort. Mm-hmm. There's comfort in what he's saying. He's confident. And the most important thing you can inject a young person with is confidence. And when you inject a young person with confidence, they are going to soar. And that's what you see. You just see a young man getting better and better. And I'm just thankful he chose Missouri to come back home.
Yeah. So are a lot of these people that are listening and watching tonight and that are here at Harpo's. One other thought in this break. Caleb Grill over the last 9 games averaging 13 points a game. But the last 2 games, obviously, he has been the focal point of the opposing defenses. What are they doing to him?
You know, it's interesting to me that Caleb Grill has never drawn a foul while he's running around these screens. That's interesting to me. We've played the 5 most physical teams, and he's not drawn a foul. And I've seen guys try to do the waltz with him, try to slow dance with him, hug him, right? Let them know that they missed them. And I've never seen a foul being called.
There was a review on a play when he tried to make a cut from the top of the key. I'm trying to remember the situation. It almost looked like he got headlocked at the free throw line. There was a play back in the day, Jason Sutherland at Oklahoma State literally ended up in the headlock of a big man from Oklahoma State on the baseline and got called for the foul.
I say all this because you can call a foul every possession in the SEC. That's how physical it is. The referees, by way of all of this intense basketball that has never been done in the SEC, the referees are going to get better. At least I hope, right? They're going to continue to improve, but they can't ever bat 1,000%. Mm-hmm. Referees don't bat 1,000%. They don't shoot 70% when they blow the whistle. It's impossible. But the game is moving so fast, and they have to keep the integrity of the game up. And what I do know is our players are so good that it becomes almost like some people say, I was going to ask how many first downs we had. That's what I was going to ask, right?
Yeah.
Because it looks like football sometimes, but I just hope it doesn't penalize us in postseason play when teams and different referees are out there because these habits of 18 games, 18 plus with conference tournament, it's going to be a little bit different for some teams. And we saw Auburn get in foul trouble last year, Tennessee, and certain teams not advance because of foul situations.
It's Dennis Gates and I'm Mike Kelly. When we come back, film study up next on the Central Bank Tiger Network from Learfield.
At Shelter Insurance, we believe insurance should adjust to fit your needs. That's why our agents work with you to design an auto, home, and life insurance plan that's particular to you. Insurance that fits just right. And Shelter is known for our award-winning customer service, satisfied customers, and a plan for you. Isn't it time to check Shelter out? Find an agent near you at shelterinsurance.com. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Dear winter, Toyota can't get enough of you. Because Toyota's got 25 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive. And that's more than any other auto brand. From the versatile RAV4 to the svelte Crown, the sleek Camry all-wheel drive, the Corolla Hybrid all-wheel drive, the rugged Tacoma, the tenacious Tundra, and the spacious Grand Highlander with all-wheel drive to keep you and yours safe. Hey, you bring the action, we'll bring the traction. Always Toyota. Toyota, let's go places. Based on manufacturer's websites as of 10/20/24.
When the game goes into overtime. But the game goes into overtime. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
You could call it swagger. You could call it a vibe. You could call it confidence. You could call it cool. Or you could call it exactly as it is, Tiger Pride. Show your Mizzou spirit with the Tiger Checking Card, only from Central Bank. Sign up today at tigerchecking.com. Central Bank, strong roots, endless possibilities. Member FDIC.
It's time to play Walk the Plank. True or false? Real wood floors can last hundreds of years. False. No, that's true. Laminates fumble fast. True or false? Homes with real wood floors sell much faster than homes with fake wood flooring. True. True or false? Bamboo's a good choice for flooring. True. False. Bamboo's a grass. Keep turf on the field, not on your floors. Visit choosewood.com for more truth about trees.
At MU Healthcare, our sports medicine team knows what it takes to compete because we're competitors too. Upping our game day in and day out to be the best doctors for Mid-Missouri athletes. Whether that's competing to be one of 11 orthopedic centers of excellence in the country or cheering alongside the Mizzou Tigers as their team physicians, we've got everything athletes need to be and stay at their best. MUHealth.org/sportsmedexperts. Because we're competitors too.
Tiger Talk continues from Harpo's in downtown Columbia. I'm Mike Kelly. Thanks to Harpo's, we're hosting Tiger Talk here during the season. A staple in downtown since 1971, featuring a new food menu. Check out their daily specials. Also, the expanded space here in the building that can host your next event. Show your swagger with a Tiger checking card from Central Bank. It's the only place for Tiger checking. Open it today, www.centralbank.net. Gentile is the apparel provider for the Mizzou Radio Network. Check out their new collection of Mizzou apparel available at gentileapparel.com or at Bingham's in downtown Columbia the next time you're in town for a game. We've got to scrap our film study this week. Got a little technical problem, but that's all right. We've got plenty to talk about with the head coach. Before we jump into some of the national rankings for your team in terms of from stats, last couple of games, I want you to talk a little bit about the play of Jacob Cruz and Marquez Warwick and what they've been able to bring to your team off the bench.
So when we constructed our roster in recruiting, we had to make sure that it covered the different dimensions of a season. You got non-conference, right? You have different smaller teams, but yet you go from, you know, maybe a high major to a mid-major to a low major, and those are style of plays, and it's contrasting. You have to be prepared for in conference, meaning the first half of conference when teams are getting to know each other, first time around. Now, the second time around, defenses get a little bit tougher. You get to know who exactly, there's familiarity. So you got to be able to score over people. Over people in basketball is shooting. And that is an identity that Jacob Cruz, who's 6'7", 6'8", catch and shoot guy, Marquez Warwick, who's able to score off the bounce 3 levels. You add that dimension to Caleb Grill, Tamar Bates. It spaces out things for Mark Mitchell, Josh Gray, Ant Robinson and Tony Perkins, T.O. Barrett. They're able to make the reads and the passes. And, ultimately the shooting percentage is what they bring to the table. But also their experience defensively. They do some things that I think helps our team.
Every player goes through a period of time during their career where the game will humble you a little bit, right? Is it fair to say Anthony's kind of going through a little bit of that segment right now in his young career? Because you got to remember, he's only a sophomore.
Ant has been – he and Trent are returning 2 sophomores. They have been tremendous. Yeah. And you all have seen the growth of those 2 players. But from the standpoint of the next growth they have to take and make is being able to be consistent. And that's a sign of a player when you see a Tamar Bates, when you see certain guys, the consistency. Ant Robinson's biggest issue these last 4 or 5 games was these are the most physical defenses in the conference, from Tennessee, Texas, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, and Texas A&M. Right. Those defenses have caused him to look at the game a little bit different. And now let's see what he does in this next adjustment in the second half, and I think he'll be fine. Trent Pierce is the same, but these guys, I wouldn't call it a slump. I would just look at it from the standpoint of adjustments, and they have to continue to adjust. Yeah,
and it's a growth process that continues through your career, correct?
Absolutely, absolutely. There is definitely that. The adversity is the adversity, but they will be.
Some of the numbers, Mizzou this week ranked today ranked number 23 in the NCAA net national rankings, 23rd in scoring offense at 82.4 points per game. Meanwhile, 3rd in free throws made at 19.7 per contest. Also 3rd in free throws attempted at 27.4. 3rd in bench scoring, 36.2. 7th in steals at 9.9. And Caleb Grill, by the way, is 3rd in the country in three-point percentage at 47.7.
Tremendous stats, tremendous identity of our team, but there's more that I think this team can do in other categories, from a defensive standpoint, offensively. The one thing that I look at, and I think our film session was going to be on it, was the fact that we lead our conference in transition points. And when you're able to lead a conference in transition points, that means a lot of other categories are happening. Your rebounding is improving. Your live ball blocks or steals are improving. And players are being able, with their speed and athleticism, to make plays and execute on the other end. And I think that's what a strength of our team is.
Yeah, number 1 in the SEC in transition offense, 7th nationally in transition offense. So areas in which, and again, people say to me that, lost a couple back-to-back games. Yeah, look at the league, look at you to play, number 1. But number 2, I don't think this team is even close to operating in all cylinders. Is that too optimistic of a point of view from my standpoint?
I would say you are correct in everything that you see, because you see behind the scenes, Mike. You come to practice, you see the growth of our team from the summers, and that's why I credit you. You don't just show up during the season. You show up in the summers, getting to know the players, looking at their game and trying to figure out the cohesion and what the potential of a team is. We have so much potential on our team in terms of the growth, and the growth from one week to the next, or even when you look from month to month, and we have steady diet of growth in our system. We've never taken a step back in my eyes as a head coach, and every single game I'm measuring that in our losses. Yeah. It's unfortunate in this conference you can play very well and still lose. But when you lose, what lessons are being taught? We lost a play where you talk to the other staff, they say, man, y'all broke our whole play up and we don't know what happened, right? That's what happened. We stopped the play, but players are just making plays.
Well, and that's the beauty of the game, right? It's about kids making plays.
Absolutely.
And that's what it's always been about.
And we've been on the positive side of making plays ourselves. Yeah. So I can't look at that any other way. But good win. Let's figure it out next time.
Dennis Ray Gates, I'm Mike Kelly. When we come back, we're going to talk about Wednesday's matchup against the Oklahoma Sooners. That's up next on the Central Bank Tiger Network from Learfield.
Hey friends, Matzo Matt here for Brew Pub Lots of Matzo Pizza. Does it seem like you're camping in the forest of complaints when it comes to your kids and dinner time? Phrases like, what even is that? And,
we're having that again?
Or,
seriously?
Are getting tossed around like a frisbee at the beach. I know you want to break free from the barrage of bemoaning, so toss in a Brew Pub Lots of Matzo Pizza for dinner tonight. That thin crust, delicious sauce, and mountain of mozzarella will have the kids singing your praises at dinner time. Snag a Brew Pub Lots of Matzo Pizza today from the freezer section in your local grocery store.
Black and gold season never ends at the Tiger Team Store. Gear up for game day with the largest official selection of black and gold gear and gifts. From the latest Mizzou SEC gear to everything you need for your tailgate. The Tiger Team Store is your store for all things Mizzou. The Tiger Team Store has moved and is now located inside Mizzou Arena. Open Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. until 5 p.m. with extended hours on game day or online at TigerTeamStore.com. It's always black and gold season at the Tiger Team Store.
Come on. That was me, a proper internet troll, finally having enough, all because of slow, spotty internet. We've all been there. So switch to Brightspeed Fiber Internet. Its ultra-fast fiber and wall-to-wall Wi-Fi coverage have me throwing out likes and hearts like confetti at a parade. I love parades. Who knew?
Brightspeed Fiber Internet. Switch to the bright side at brightspeed.com/today. Limited availability in select areas.
Addison's restaurants are great local spots to visit before or after all Mizzou home games. Addison's has 2 locations to choose from in Southwest and downtown Columbia. Addison's features a full bar with over 20 beers on tap, including local brewers, and of course their famous Nachos Bianco. So, before or after the game, stop by Addison's. View the full menu online for both locations at addisonsgrill.com.
It's game day, Tigers. Score big with fast check-ins, short security lines, and nonstop flights on American Airlines right here in Columbia. Whether you're traveling for the next big game or a quick getaway, Columbia Regional Airport gets you there easier and without the drive. Take the home court advantage to the skies at flycou.com. Columbia Regional Airport. There sooner, home faster.
It's time to get back into routine that focuses on you. Move better, feel better, simply live better at Wilson's Fitness. Escape reality in the indoor saltwater pool. Detox from the saunas or heat things up with our hot yoga. Wilson's is here to support you, motivate you, and help smash your goals with group fitness classes, personal coaching, and endless amenities. Move better, feel better, simply live better at Wilson's Fitness in Columbia. Visit them at wilsonsfitness.com.
We are inside of Harpo's in downtown Columbia. I'm Mike Kelly. Dennis Gates is alongside. Coming up in our next segment, we'll visit with former Tiger Jared Sutton. We'll close the show with Matt Klein, Mizzou's assistant coach. Remember, you can watch Tiger Talk live locally through the family of networks through KMIZ, the Mizzou station here in Columbia, and also in the St. Louis area through the family of networks of KMOV. Additionally, you can watch and listen live on the Tiger Radio Network, the Facebook page for Mizzou Athletics, YouTube channels, and also all episodes of Tiger Talk and other content available on the Inside Mizzou Athletics podcast. From the creators of Belly Market and Beatbox and Peachtree Catering, Belly Market has rotisserie. They also have massive sandwiches, home smoked meats, delicious salad, also daily specials. Their dinner program offers seasonal plates, fresh seafood, also new bar offerings. Tell them the Tigers sent you and get a special treat. And remember, you can partner with the Food Bank and the Tigers, the official charitable partner of Mizzou Athletics. Visit scoreagainsthunger.org about how you can help feed Missouri. Dennis Gates is alongside. Oklahoma in town. This is a really good team that's coming from Norman. They won their first 13 games, started 13-0 in the season.
Started 13-0 and was ranked in the top 15, I believe. And, you know, great coach, Final Four in his resume and has done a tremendous job everywhere he's been.
How would you evaluate his staff, though? Just kind of curious.
I don't know about that staff, but I know a young man that's been on that staff. I've known him his whole life.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we have the same parents.
Your brother Armand,
yes,
will come to town with Porter Mosier and his staff. This will be the third time that you've coached against your brother?
Yeah.
Is it hard?
No, it's not hard because it's about the players. The players are actually the ones playing. Now, if we were playing against each other, my mom and dad would have to come out the stands and break up a fight if we were ever to play against each other. At least that's how it was growing up. But I'm proud of him and what he's been able to do in his coaching career because he's one of the top assistants in the country. One of their best players, Jeremiah Fears, his relationship with his dad brought him to Oklahoma. And he's not even just a recruiter. He's a great basketball coach who's been behind the success of Porter Mosier at Loyola. And then he was with Chris Collins at Northwestern on that first team that ever went to the NCAA tournament in Northwestern history. So he started some unbelievable resume builders for him to take over his own program one day. And I will never play him ever if he becomes a head coach.
If he becomes a head coach. Yeah. That was going to be my next question. I'm curious, how much do you guys get a chance to talk?
We talk all the time.
Yeah.
Now, we have a great relationship. I have a close-knit family.
Yeah.
We're 3 years apart. I'm the handsome one. He's not. But I'm 3 years older. And
still handsome.
And still handsome.
Yeah.
The best thing is that, we share information. And when I was at Cleveland State, he helped me hire my staff. So I asked him to help me. I turned all my phones off because at that point you become the most popular guy.
Right.
And I had everything go through him. And literally, he helped me hire my first staff. He made about 2 or 3 recommendations. Rob Summers was one of them that he recommended. Steve Wright, who's now at Duquesne, was a high school coach at Princeton in Cincinnati that he connected me to. And then obviously the idea of hiring Drew Joyce III was kind of both of our idea, and he kind of helps me along the way and always has.
So let's talk about his team. This will be the 213th time that Missouri and Oklahoma will meet on the basketball court. It's also the 6th time that they've met in different conferences. Missouri Valley.
Crazy when I heard that.
Big 6, Big 7, Big 8, Big 12, and now the SEC.
Talk about a trivia question. That is a real trivia question. And the history of our institution competing against Oklahoma runs deep. And when you can say both teams started in the Missouri Valley, you said the Big 6?
Big 6, Big 7, Big 8.
You went from Big 6, 7, 8 to 12. What happened to 9, 10, 11?
Yeah, we just kind of bypassed that.
Right, bypassed that. Yeah. But now the SEC.
Texas and Oklahoma said we're not going to go 8 and 9. We're going to go 9 and 10. We're going to go straight to 12.
But it's been a tremendous, whenever we've played teams from the past, our fans, it creates a great memory and it connects our history. Yeah. And when you can have rivalries reignited in any sport, football, basketball, and others, it brings back some great memories for everybody.
How big of a challenge is Jalen Moore?
Jalen Moore is an all-conference performer. I think he's one of their best players. Tremendous two-way player. 6'7", 6'8", 4-man, very athletic. Started his career at Georgia Tech, and he is a very versatile coverage. He's been doing a great job.
You mentioned Fears. He's a guy that's considered by some to be a lottery pick.
Yeah, Fears I said this today in my media press conference. Fears graduated earlier than most to enter into his freshman year. So he's supposed to be a senior at Men's Warehouse picking out a prom suit. But this dude is competing in the best conference, and he is a difference maker, and one of the reasons that they were ranked in the top 15, and he's a tremendous point guard that NBA scouts will draft in this year's draft.
Go get a win.
Thanks.
MIZ. ZOU. It's Dennis Gates and I'm Mike Kelly. When we come back, a conversation with Jared Sutton. Up next on the Central Bank Tiger Network from Learfield.
You could call it swagger. You could call it a vibe. You could call it confidence. You could call it cool. Or you could call it exactly as it is, Tiger Pride. Show your Mizzou spirit with the Tiger Checking Card, only from Central Bank. Sign up today at tigerchecking.com. Central Bank, strong roots, endless possibilities. Member FDIC.
Oh, did you get us switched over to shelter insurance?
Actually, I found a deal online.
You did. Does your deal come with award-winning customer service?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Does the deal include a local agent?
Doesn't actually say.
Can we create a customized plan that fits our needs? Let's just call the local shelter agent.
For insurance that fits just right, find a shelter agent near you. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
When the game goes into overtime. But the game goes into overtime. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Which schools will take home the prestigious Learfield Directors Cup as the top college athletic programs for the 2024-25 college athletics season? You can follow the standings of your favorite team or alma mater at L Directors Cup on Twitter and online at thedirectorscup.com. Trophies will be awarded in June 2025 to the winning institutions in all college sports divisions. Learfield Directors Cup, the crowning achievement in college athletics.
Dear winter, Toyota can't get enough of you. Because Toyota's got 25 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive. And that's more than any other auto brand. From the versatile RAV4 to the svelte Crown, the sleek Camry all-wheel drive, the Corolla Hybrid all-wheel drive, the rugged Tacoma, the tenacious Tundra, and the spacious Grand Highlander with all-wheel drive to keep you and yours safe. Hey, you bring the action, we'll bring the traction. Always Toyota. Toyota, let's go places. Based on manufacturer's websites as of 10/20/24.
A message about driving safely from University of Missouri head basketball coach Dennis Gates.
Basketball requires everyone to be responsible teammates. Driving requires the same exact thing. Crashes can be avoided by practicing safe driving habits. Please leave all distractions aside. Once you're behind that wheel, that is your number one priority. Buckle up, phone down. Slow down, drive sober.
This message is brought to you by the Missouri Coalition for Roadway Safety.
There we go. Tiger Talk on the Central Bank Tiger Network from Learfield. Welcome in. I'm Mike Kelly, and coming up in our next segment, we'll visit with Matt Klein, the Mizzou assistant coach, brought to you by Socket Fiber. Mizzou Athletics would like to thank its premier partners, MU Healthcare, and also Shelter Insurance. Time now for our former players segment. This guy played at Mizzou, was a member of a team that advanced to the Elite Eight in 2009, also won the Big 12 tournament back in 2012. He's now a scout for the New Orleans Pelican. Please welcome into the conversation my friend Jared Sutton. How are you tonight?
Mike, I'm good. Good to be with you as always, and always an honor to be on the show.
You remember a certain day in the spring of 2011 when you were tapped and sent into the much less prestigious, I can't even remember, the QEBH, something like that. And, of course, those of us that went into Mystical 7, much more proud, much more prestigious. You remember that day, Jared?
I do. I knew it wouldn't take long for you to bring up Tap Day, but that was a special day. And speaking of honor, I mean, to be able to be tapped by your peers, have that ceremony on campus at Chessie Hall, great memory for me in college, without a doubt, and especially seeing all faculty and students and everybody associated with the university. It's always a special day for the school as well.
Yeah, it really was. I was obviously joking with you a little bit about it. We've talked about that for the last 13 years at least. So I want to go back to 2012, last time that a Missouri team won a conference tournament title. Of course, it was in Kansas City. It was the last year in the Big 12, heading to the SEC. What do you remember about that weekend run in Kansas City?
I remember it being the most hostile. I can remember the Big 12 being in basketball, just with the matchup with Kansas. And those two great games, one in Columbia that we were able to win, and then the one in Lawrence that I think about a lot, being up 19 at their place. And it was supposed to be the tiebreaker in Kansas City at the Big 12 tournament. And obviously a special weekend for me just being from Kansas City and knowing we were exiting the Big 12 and joining the SEC. There's so many great teams in that Big 12. I mean, we had some battles with Iowa State and Baylor, even Texas and Kansas State. But really it came down to us in Kansas. And that was what was going to be so exciting about playing in Kansas City with that matchup. But, unfortunately Kansas didn't make it to the final, and Baylor did. And then we were able to take care of business in the final. But I'll always remember just the chance through, at that point, it was the Sprint Center, now T-Mobile Center, but Mizzou fans chanting the SEC and just a sea of black that was in that arena, celebrating that team. It was our 30th win when we beat Baylor, and to finish 14-4 in the Big 12. It was such a special season, and one that me and my teammates talk a lot about.
In your current role, people... obviously you see the title scout, but what all goes into that, Jared, in terms of being a scout for a professional team in this day and age?
Yeah, it's a lot. I'm really covering the amateur draft, so I used to be a regional scout. I'm now a global scout, so I cover all conferences, all leagues. It's a ton of travel. You're obviously evaluating talent, and you're trying to figure out the best players that are going to be in the summer draft. And every class is different. Where you pick in the draft kind of comes down towards the end of the year of how your team's doing, and you're kind of trying to figure out scenarios of, are you going to move up in the draft, are you going to move back in the draft, and all that. The strategy part of it is one thing, but around this time of the year, it's trying to go see as many players as you can, but it's also the relationships you have with coaches, and being able to have authentic, genuine relationships with coaches all over the country, because that really goes into the background and the information gathering you get on campus visits, whether it be preseason practice or at the end of a season, when you're really starting to do your digging on the player and the person. And we value the character part, the intangible part. It's a really big part of our process once we get into the draft. But it's an exciting experience just because every year is different. And right now it's an important time because it's February, the NCAA tournament is coming, but after the NCAA tournament, you start getting into, those end of season all-star games, or you're getting into the Portsmouth tournament where it's all the seniors that you're evaluating, and then you go into the NBA Combine, and it starts to kind of get you ready for the draft. And in a market like New Orleans, we're a small market team. We value the draft. We're never going to be a tax team. And the draft is really important in us building a winner. And that's kind of my role within the team. I've been with the Pelicans for 6 years, been a scout for 8, and have really just seen a lot of things that evolved over the years, where I really value my role and just the importance of it in building a winner at the NBA level.
How deep into the due diligence in terms of character do you go with the individual players? Like, for instance, do you dive into relationships going back to their high school days or their prep school days? Do you dive into the grassroots things when they played AAU ball? How deep do you go on these individuals that potentially you're going to invest millions of dollars in?
Well, it's critical for us. Every team's different, but for our digging and kind of our background process, we're evaluating everything from character to IQ to your work ethic to how coachable you are, your work ethic. And yes, like the relationship part of this, there's skill trainers, there's, academic coordinators that I've talked to from colleges. I've also, spoken with a high school coach or, a high school janitor I had a conversation with a couple of years ago on a prospect that was really close with the prospect. So the digging goes pretty far in advance. And as you get closer and closer towards the draft, and as you start to kind of shrink down your target base, it goes deeper and deeper and deeper. And then to be a part of the interview is probably my favorite part, where you actually get to meet the player and you actually sit down and have a conversation and really dive into the things that you really want more information on and questions you can bring to the player to really get a sense of what you're bringing into your organization and how they're going to adapt and evolve as a professional. How are they going to handle the challenges that every rookie has, every first-year player has, and are they made up of the right things that you want to bring into your program?
Finally, you've obviously seen this team play this season at Mizzou. You've had a chance to call games on television when this team has played. What do you like about Dennis Gates' team this year?
I think the thing that I really come back to are two things that I think are much different, obviously, than last year. But I even think dating back to year one, I love the toughness of this group. And I don't say that lightly. I think their defense has gotten so much better as the year has gone on. The fearlessness that they play with. You go back to the Mississippi State game on the road, where wire to wire, they are locked in. They are playing for each other. You saw it in the Florida win, where they face challenges in the Florida game. They have a lead, team comes back, and they're going to win a game on the road against the number 5 team in the country. And you do that through having a tough group, mentally tough, physically tough. This league is so good, as we all know. But just to where this team is at and the job this coaching staff has done to not only put the team together from a personnel standpoint, but how connected the group is and how tough they are playing. And there's games where they haven't shot it well, or they struggled with offense. And that defense is getting better and better and better. And I think that's a huge difference in what we've seen this year and what's led to these wins is they're playing both sides of the ball. And they can score at the rim, they can get to the free throw line, they can make threes, they have depth. And how about Josh Gray as a rebounder, a center that can go rebound the ball, and someone that's been consistent on the glass. And for Mizzou to be competitive on the glass this year, again, it all comes back to toughness. So I think these things are what I appreciate most about this group. And every challenge, you look at the Tennessee game and the A&M game, they lose by a combined 7 points. But how they played against A&M showed me a lot. Even in a loss, it shows me a lot of what this team's made of. And we're just at the beginning of February here, mid-February, and that type of mentality is going to bode well for you in March.
Jared, thanks for your time. I appreciate it.
Mike, thanks for having me. Appreciate it as always.
That is Jared Sutton, the former Tiger. I'm Mike Kelly. Our Socket Fiber assistant coaches conversation with Matt Klein's up next on the Central Bank Tiger Network from Learfield.
Something big is happening at Hy-Vee. We've just lowered thousands and thousands of prices on thousands and thousands of items in every aisle and in every department. Online, too. And on many of your favorite products. We've even matched prices with some of the biggest discount stores in the country. Because we get it, times are still tough. So we'll continue to work hard to bring you new lower prices on thousands of items. Things are looking different at Hy-Vee. Come see for yourself.
It's game day, Tigers. Score big with fast check-ins, short security lines, and nonstop flights on American Airlines right here in Columbia. Whether you're traveling for the next big game or a quick getaway, Columbia Regional Airport gets you there easier and without the drive. Take the home court advantage to the skies at flycou.com. Columbia Regional Airport. There sooner, home faster.
Come on. That was me, a proper internet troll, finally having enough, all because of slow, spotty internet. We've all been there. So switch to Brightspeed Fiber Internet. Its ultra-fast fiber and wall-to-wall Wi-Fi coverage have me throwing out likes and hearts like confetti at a parade. I love parades. Who knew?
Brightspeed Fiber Internet. Switch to the bright side at brightspeed.com/today. Limited availability in select areas.
Addison's restaurants are great local spots to visit before or after all Mizzou home games. Addison's has 2 locations to choose from in Southwest and downtown Columbia. Addison's features a full bar with over 20 beers on tap, including local brewers, and of course their famous Nachos Bianco. So, before or after the game, stop by Addison's. View the full menu online for both locations at addisonsgrill.com.
Dear winter, Toyota can't get enough of you. Because Toyota's got 25 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive. And that's more than any other auto brand. From the versatile RAV4 to the Svelte Crown, the sleek Camry all-wheel drive, the Corolla Hybrid all-wheel drive, the rugged Tacoma, the tenacious Tundra, and the spacious Grand Highlander with all-wheel drive to keep you and yours safe. Hey, you bring the action, we'll bring the traction. Always Toyota. Toyota, let's go places. Based on manufacturer's websites as of 10/20/24.
Black and gold season never ends at the Tiger Team Store. Gear up for game day with the largest official selection of black and gold gear and gifts. From the latest Mizzou SEC gear to everything you need for your tailgate, the Tiger Team Store is your store for all things Mizzou. The Tiger Team Store has moved and is now located inside Mizzou Arena. Open Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. until 5 p.m. with extended hours on game day or online at TigerTeamStore.com. It's always black and gold season at the Tiger Team Store.
Time now for our Socket Fiber Assistant Coaches Conversation. And we say good evening to Mizzou Assistant Coach Matt Klein. Great to see you.
Great to see you, Mike.
Yeah, it's always great to hang around with you. And obviously you brought your wife with you tonight.
Yep, my lovely wife, Rebecca. Much smarter, much more prettier than me. So, yeah, my better half for sure.
Yeah, without question. And everybody that knows you knows that that's quite accurate. A lot I want to cover. Your path to the University of Missouri is one that saw you do it what I call it the right way, working your way up through the ranks until you got the opportunity to be at a Power 5 school. When you look back at your career, just what are some of the things, the highlights that you would glean from it so far?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like yesterday I was writing letters and resumes all over the country to be a student manager, and I ended up at South Alabama, and from there went to Florida State, and that's where I met Coach Gates when he was an assistant coach. I was a graduate assistant, and lucky to stay with that.
Let's go back to the first thing that I don't know people that I don't want that to slip by. You wrote letters to people to get opportunities.
Yeah, I grew up in upstate New York, and I played junior college out of high school. I was a small college basketball player, and I wanted to get into coaching. With advice from a family friend, he said, become a student manager at Division I level. So I just wrote letters all over the country, and randomly South Alabama replied, and I took a one-way ticket to Mobile, Alabama to start my coaching career.
As I remember the story, in a short amount of time.
Yeah, what's that?
In a short amount of time, you had to make that decision to go there, correct?
So Thursday night, the head coach called me, Ronnie Arrow. He said, basically, hey, I just found out. He got hired that summer. He said, I just found out I have like a stipend for a student manager or GA. Talk to you and this kid from Arizona. Whoever says they wants it first gets it. School starts Monday. Do you want it? And I said, oh. And anyways, so I ended up calling him back Friday. I said, I'll do it. Got on a plane Saturday, started.
So different guys that you've worked for, whether it be Coach Arrow or Coach Gates or being around Coach Hamilton, what are some of the things you've taken from individuals that you remember the most?
Well, I think from Coach Ham and Coach Gates, I think they have similar qualities in the respect of, I think they're both like the ultimate CEO. I think they do a great job of hiring their staff and allowing them to do their job, not micromanaging, trusting the staff to work, which we greatly appreciate. I think the intentional relationships with players can be said for all the great coaches like Coach Ham and Coach Gates. I work for Coach Forbes, who's at Wake Forest right now, who's having a really good season, and he was super organized. He could tell you where a practice plan was from 1989, and just super sharp. He was hard on his guys, but he loved his guys, and so I've been fortunate to be around some really good coaches and just kind of taking everything that I want from them.
Going to take a quick break. Our final segment of Tiger Talk as we continue our Socket Fiber Coaches Conversation with Matt Klein is up next on the Central Bank Tiger Network from Learfield.
You could call it swagger. You could call it a vibe. You could call it confidence. You could call it cool. Or you could call it exactly as it is, Tiger Pride. Show your Mizzou spirit with the Tiger Checking Card, only from Central Bank. Sign up today at tigerchecking.com. Central Bank, strong roots, endless possibilities. Member FDIC.
At Shelter Insurance, we believe insurance should adjust to fit your needs. That's why our agents work with you to design an auto, home, and life insurance plan that's particular to you. Insurance that fits just right. And Shelter is known for our award-winning customer service. Satisfied customers and a plan for you. Isn't it time to check Shelter out? Find an agent near you at shelterinsurance.com. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Addison's restaurants are great local spots to visit before or after all Mizzou home games. Addison's has 2 locations to choose from in Southwest and downtown Columbia. Addison's features a full bar with over 20 beers on tap, including local brewers, and of course their famous Nachos Bianco. So, before or after the game, stop by Addison's. View the full menu online for both locations at addisonsgrill.com.
Hey, Matzo Matt here for Brewpub Lots of Matzo Pizza. You know, there are very few things in life worth waiting for.
Pizza's done?
Oh, I'm on it. I'm starving. I've been waiting.
I wouldn't do that. It's going to be really... It's so hot. It's burning my mouth.
A Brewpub Lots of Matzo Pizza it's the epitome of delayed gratification. So when your Brewpub pizza is done and the temptation to dive right in due to the deliciousness of every bite overwhelms you, step back, give it time, and know it's worth the wait. Brewpub Lots of Matzo Pizza is available in your local grocery store.
Final segment of Tiger Talk from Harpo's in downtown Columbia. This is a Socket Fiber assistant coach's conversation with Mizzou assistant coach Matt Klein. Tiger Talk brought to you by Shelter Insurance, ranked number 1 in customer satisfaction for auto insurance in the central region by J.D. Power. 6 of the last 7 years, we're your shield, we're your shelter. Coach Klein, I want to talk a little bit about your thoughts on this team. 17-6 on the season, 6-4 in the SEC. Just your thoughts on where this team is right now through 23 games.
I think we're in a really good spot. Obviously, it was last week, 2 tough losses, but able to really pay attention to some details the last few days in practice, clean up some things, work on some special situations, and we're excited to turn the page tomorrow with Oklahoma.
Okay, so clean up some things. Elaborate on that if you will.
Yeah, just kind of some late game clean up with offensive sets, as well as just cleaning up baseline out of bounds, offense and defense. Just looking at the film and seeing things with different ball screen coverages and solutions on offense. So we're excited to turn the page and for tomorrow with Oklahoma.
You and Rob Summers spend a lot of time on the offensive side of the game, if you will. Mm-hmm. Break it down a little bit for us, just kind of where this team has been the most efficient from an offensive standpoint and where it can become more efficient, if you will.
Yeah, I think you guys talked about it with Coach Gates a little bit earlier. Obviously, we're number 1. There's so many different stats, but number 1 in power, in high major transition points per game right now. So obviously, we talk a lot with our best offense is our defense. We want to turn that defense into offense. So transition-wise, we always want to play fast and get the ball out quick and score before the defense gets set up. I was looking today, we're 95th percentile in ball screen offense, so we got several guys who can handle the ball at all different positions and recognizing coverage solutions and that. So, and obviously spot-up shooting is a strength of ours, and being able to spread the floor. And then when we're able to shoot like we can, it opens up the paint for drives, and we're top 5 in the country in free throw attempt rate. So we want to really focus on getting to the rim and shooting threes, most efficient shots.
We talk a lot about the way that Tamar has been scoring the basketball and Caleb's been scoring the basketball. But what you see each and every day is the amount of effort that goes into what they do and the byproduct of their work. Elaborate on that, if you will.
They have incredible routines. Obviously, they're both guys with over 100 career college games. They've been student athletes for several years now, and they just have a maturity about them that shows that. And so they have routine day in and day out where they know the extra work they want to get in. They know the film work. They know what it takes. They hold their teammates accountable in practice in the locker room, and it's incredible to have those types of leaders for your team.
When you come into a game, right, from a game plan standpoint, particularly on offense, Give me an idea of the different sets, plays that you might have for any one game and what that number might be.
Well, you look at your opponent and you see what they're really good at stopping, what they're good, what kind of weaknesses they have, and then from there you go into what do we have in our playbook during dead balls that can exploit that. And some things are consistent in every game. We want to control the pace. We want to, like you said, score offense off our defense. And so those things remain constant. And obviously we have different – we want to prepare our guys in the summer and in the preseason to know that for whatever defensive coverage we see, we will have an offensive solution. And when the game time comes, we're just basically pulling from that toolbox and just inserting into the game plan, so it's no surprise for the guys.
At what point during the season are you adding to the toolbox? Is that all just through the summer months? Is it just through preseason? Are you adding plays and sets as the season progresses?
You are. You try not to do it very often, but definitely there's things that you see on film, and in the league with such great coaches and the players are so good, and there's 1 to 2 possession games, you're trying to seek that competitive advantage. You find that through film, and you want to try to insert a couple things here.
You've used the word film, and I've watched you after games dive right into your computer. I want to talk a little bit about, let's take it from end of game on Wednesday at Tennessee, knowing you got to play at home on Saturday. Give me an idea of the preparation that you and the other assistant coaches begin to do immediately following that game at Tennessee.
Well, the scouts rotate, and so Tennessee, I was in part of that scout with Coach CY and Coach Smith-Peters, so we're responsible for the debrief after the game. So my primary responsibility would be that, just understanding what we did well versus Tennessee, what we struggled with, which was a good offensive performance by us there. And then Texas A&M would be Coach Summers, Coach Charbaugh, Coach Nutt has a hand in that. And so we kind of split it up evenly and go from there. But just diving in and understanding what we did well and what we need to improve on after each game.
What impresses you about Oklahoma?
Well, they do. Obviously, they've had a great non-conference. They have several guys that can score the ball. Defensively, they do a good job of limiting opponent basket assist rate, so they make teams try to score on them one-on-one. We think we have an advantage, trying to get into the paint on them, as well as trying to hit the offensive glass. But they've shown they can compete with the best. They had 3 incredible non-conference wins. They just played Vanderbilt, beat them by 28 at home. So they played some really good basketball. So we have to be ready to play. We
got about 30 seconds left. Just give me an idea for the fans. What's it like to work with this staff and this group of individuals that you're around each and every day?
Thankful, grateful every day driving into Mizzou Arena, being able to work with Coach Gates and the staff. He's put together incredible staff with guys that don't have egos. We collaborate really well, and it's just a joy to be around, and it's a dream come true.
Glad to have you here. Thanks for taking time tonight.
ZOU.
That's Matt Gates. That's Matt Klein. Dennis Gates was just with us. Is all part of the Socket Fiber Assistant Coaches Conversation. Don't forget Missouri and Oklahoma coming up tomorrow night, 8 o'clock at Mizzou Arena. Still some tickets available. If you want to get yours, go online to mutigers.com. That's going to do it for Tiger Talk. We'll talk to you tomorrow evening right here on the Central Bank Tiger Network from Learfield.